If I were a boy, I think I could understand.
So back to this show and about how it's all me today. Can we focus on that? Wait a minute.
Do the bottoms of my
Mom's
shoes look
calling.
bad?
I know, I'm like, do I have a hole
ring,
in
Mom
this
on
thing?
line too. We ask viewers like you, do you know a narcissist?
All men are narcissistic.
Just doing their hair, taking longer than me to get ready.
He stands in the mirror for 30 minutes making sure his wrinkles are free and his hair's all in place.
And I actually dated a guy who wore concealer to cover pimples.
If he had makeup to put on, I think he'd be in there even longer.
And straightening irons and hair products a lot more than I've ever had in my life.
I'm sitting on the couch like,
Yeah, all men are definitely self-absorbed.
Ouch! Lisa Scott has written the book, It's All About Him, How to Identify and Avoid the Narcissistic Male Before You Get Hurt. Welcome to Great Day St. Louis.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so this book might seem to be, I'm going to get you back.
Yes, but it's not. I wrote it to help others understand who may be in a relationship with a narcissist that they cannot change and you need to accept them for who they are and all of their limitations emotionally, or you move on. But they're not going to change, and it is a personality disorder. What many people don't realize is that narcissistic personality disorder was identified in 1980 by the American Psychological Association as a full-blown personality disorder, which means it's ingrained in a person from the age of 5.
And you did experience this personally?
Yes, I did firsthand experience it. My ex-husband was diagnosed with pathological narcissism, which is the extreme narcissism, the rigid, relentless narcissism that really is not something that anyone can change, even if they really want to. So you need to accept them for who they are and move on.
Now, we have some warning signs, some flags that you ought to see them waving in the distance.
Yes.
Starting with the lack of empathy.
Yes. The biggest indicator and what makes a relationship with a narcissist so difficult is they lack empathy. They have no ability to feel for others. However, in the beginning, they will put on an act to convey that they have these emotions. They'll appear as the most compassionate person. They put on a great act. They seem too good to be true, which is one of the indicators.
Right.
If they're too good to be true, question it. If they talk only about themselves, 80% of the time the conversation revolves around them.
Now
Question
that
it.
is
It's
a serious,
big indicator.
Serious flag.
Yes.
And also, because a lot of people, when you're meeting each other, you know, I'm trying to tell you who I
About
am.
myself, exactly.
So I may do that innocently.
Yes.
But if I think I'm always right, if he thinks he's always right, that is another flag.
That's another indicator. They're always right. If you try to correct a narcissist, you will see their true colors. And when their conversation is not revolving around them, they'll get a glazed over look in their eyes, and they'll be disengaged from the conversation and do whatever they can to revert the conversation back to themselves, and then they're into it again. So watch for those signs.
Now, here's a difficult thing for women because, you know, if they date a guy and his clothes might be a little wrinkled and, you know, maybe the nails are not all together clean, they look at that in one way.
Yeah.
Then you date the guy whose nails are buffed.
Obsessed with his
and
image.
his hair is completely trimmed. And like the one lady said, he spends more time in the bathroom and takes longer to get ready than I do.
Uses more body product than I do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you might think, oh, he takes great care of himself.
Exactly, but be careful, because a narcissist is obsessed with his image. Obsessed. That's a big indicator. Another is that they're very controlling and overly possessive early on. They have a need to know where you are at all times. Underneath, even though these narcissists have a self-inflated, puffed-up ego, underneath it all, they're quite insecure, which is why they need to know where you are at all times. They become very possessive early on in a relationship with, which some women take as, oh, it's a, you know,
he wants
whirlwind.
Me, he loves me.
Yes,
right.
he sweeps, you know, swept me off my feet.
And we need to say, too, that behavior point right there can be dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yeah, you need to watch that. You need to be very careful.
Okay, if he wants to know, he's giving you a cell phone so he can know where you are.
Exactly.
That is a huge, huge yellow flag.
Exactly.
He also is one that we may think, well, counseling, because this is beyond your love helping him, but you think,
right, you want to try to fix them, you want to help them. Narcissists are usually quite happy with their behavior. Some, the very self-aware ones, may want to get help, but usually their behavior works well for them. They're usually very successful. They get ahead. They have no problem succeeding because they're very charismatic and successful and don't have remorse for other people's feelings, so they don't stop at anything. So it works for them.
Now, and you say, Lisa, that some narcissists are obsessed with status.
Yes.
Can someone be a narcissist and just be broke and he's, you know...
Yes, there's cerebral narcissists, the very intellectual, artistic, maybe too good for anything, elitist.
Right. Institutional.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
And then there's the ones that are obsessed with their image. They get caught up in, because they've been brought up to believe in a judgmental social system, and they believe that if you're beautiful, thin, smart, you'll be loved. If not, forget about it. They believe that status symbols are, everything is external. They have no inner sense of self. So they want a big car. They want a fancy car. It's all
Right.
about the external
They want a
image.
great-looking wife.
Yes,
They
a
want,
trophy
yes,
wife.
a
That's all they
trophy
want.
wife.
Yeah.
But you told me earlier, and I love this, that you may love that narcissist.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
You
I
can
love
coexist.
Yes, yes.
If you choose.
You can coexist if you choose. There are people that that do choose to coexist with a narcissist, and if you do, you just need to understand that they will take, and they're incapable of giving, and you need to be okay with that and not expect them to change, because if you do expect them to change, you will drive yourself crazy.
Can two narcissists?
Yes, they
It's
usually
like a
work
joke.
quite
Two
well
narcissists
together.
walk into the room.
Yeah.
Which one is
They're
standing?
a great couple. Yeah.
That's
No,
a great couple.
One has better eyebrows.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and we'll talk about where you can get the book, because I know you guys are going, oh my gosh, I saw him last Friday and I need that book. But this describes a lot
Yeah.
of women. We are not male
Of course,
bashing.
yes. Women can be just as narcissistic
Now, who's
as
laughing?
men.
What are you doing? You're laughing over there.
No, women can be just as narcissistic. Absolutely, absolutely. It's just, my book is called It's All About Him, because it's my personal
experience.
experience trying to love a narcissist.
Okay,
So.
I know you guys weren't thinking, you're not laughing at me, are you over there? Okay, all right. Lisa, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Paul is just upset. Paul is just upset that his book, It's All About Her, didn't make it to store shelves first. That's all that's about.
But we do need, I forgot to ask you where to get the
Yes,
book.
oh yes, you can get it at Borders, any local bookstore, Amazon.com, it's online, and I also have a message board, allaboutHim.com, where we have hundreds of people talking about their efforts to try to love a narcissist. It's a support group online.
All right, and GreatDaySt.Louis.com is always the place to go. Okay, Matt.